Most people don't know this, but emotional numbness, along with every other feeling, is experienced in the body, not just up here. In this video, I want to talk about the 5 physical symptoms emotional numbness causes, which I know very dearly because I lived it for 18 years of my life and I've been studying trauma, emotions, numbness for the last 5 years to come out of it. If you're new here, I make videos for emotionally numb people so that they can achieve the joy of being present in the body and start feeling again. Let's start with the most obvious sign, moving to the subtler ones that barely anyone notices. I want you to take the next 15 seconds to close your eyes and feel inside your body. Let's start with your breath. Feel your breath traveling in your lungs and feel your ribcage expanding every time that happens. Take a few couple of seconds, a few moments to just pay attention to that. You can close your eyes if that helps. Notice what sensations are present in your torso right now, whether it is tingling, warmth, pressure, tightness, or maybe it's nothing at all. That's fine as well. Just stay with what you notice for a couple of seconds. For me, I'll tell you, I feel slight pressure in my lower gut, and in my upper torso, I feel tingly. Now, if you clicked on this video, chances are when I asked you about the sensations, you were confused as to what the fuck I'm talking about. And that's understandable. I know this because that's exactly what my reaction would have been 6 years ago. Back then, it took extremely unpleasant sensations for me to notice them. Like when I felt overwhelming anxiety and I would feel my heart beating loudly and breath quicken. We've all experienced the sensations of anxiety in and through our body. I'm currently reading this book, Aligned, Relaxed, and Resilient. The author says that similar to these intense sensations, there are subtle rivers of sensations present in all areas of the body all the time. The only person who has no sensations is a dead person. Most of us just don't pay attention to them. It's like you have this amazing noise cancellation headphones on and you can only hear a very loud noise in your surrounding. And that's the first physical sign of emotional numbness, a disconnect from feelings. This lack of awareness of feelings and emotions has a clinical term. It's called alexithymia, which is your inability to identify and label what you're feeling. So, for example, if someone were to ask me 6 years ago what I'm feeling, when let's say I was feeling guilty about something that I did, I would reply with nothing or a vague, I feel like shit. Not because I was lying, but because I literally couldn't identify the sensations and give it an accurate label. If you notice, most men suffer from this. Let me explain why this happens through my own example. So I remember this one instance when I was a very young boy and I was throwing an anger tantrum and I was yelled at by my grandfather, whom I loved very dearly. And naturally, I got very scared and shut up. At the same time, my brain probably, almost certainly, learned that feeling and expressing emotions, especially the negative ones, is unsafe. And with enough repetition of such messages, it started shutting emotions down. And this is proven by neuroscience. If someone were to scan your and my brain from 6 years ago, you would literally see very less activity in the emotional areas of your brain. So, your experience of numbness isn't a defect, but rather a defense mechanism your body and brain came up with in face of heavy neglect or trauma. Because let's say if I continued throwing anger tantrums, it could have potentially led to me getting abandoned. Not literally, but that's how a child's brain interprets it. So by shutting the emotions of anger and other negative emotions down, my brain was trying to protect me from that happening. It genuinely pisses me off that even though neglect is equally as damaging as PTSD, it's not talked about enough. To help increase awareness about it, I made this free tool that tells you exactly how much emotional neglect you experienced as a child. I'll put it as the top link in the description. Do check it out. The second sign is what I call a zombie body. So when I was 18 years old, I saw gurus on the internet and happy people who genuinely woke up excited and full of energy. And I used to envy them because I genuinely don't remember waking up excited for my day, full of energy and vitality. I mean, there were a couple of instances here and there, like trips and whatnot, but my average waking up and going about my day look was this. Matter of fact, my sole drive to make any change in my life was to feel awesome, high energy, and excited to be alive. Everything I started doing, be it exercise, healthy eating, prioritizing sleep, semen retention, was with the desire to feel better. Because my average state was that of lethargy. I used to feel tired all the time. It was not like I was depressed or I couldn't get out of my bed. I could, and I functioned pretty normally, but my existence was devoid of true vitality and like I was on 5% battery. The reason for that is because all that neglect, your nervous system gets stuck in the freeze response. Is the limp, dead leg response animals fall into when they get caught by a predator. And this freeze response consumes and saps you of enormous amounts of energy, leaving you literally feeling like a zombie throughout your days. And no amounts of optimizing my exercise, diet, sleep improved my energy levels until I started addressing the true cause, which was emotional numbness in my case. The third sign is another direct symptom of a nervous system stuck in freeze response. Let's for a moment go back to the animal kingdom. When a deer gets caught by a lion, for it to survive, it must be as still as physically possible, which includes its breathing, because if it's still and it is taking heavy, anxious breaths, the lion will know it's alive and will kill it then and there. So this freeze state not only freezes the body, but also the animal's respiratory system, which is part of the body. But yeah, the animals takes extremely shallow breaths that are barely visible in such a situation. I've gone in these freeze states consciously in order to heal them, and I can tell you that the breathing is so shallow, it's almost non-existent. It barely passes my nose. Oftentimes, I notice this in my numb clients as well. When I ask them to take a calm, deep breaths, this is what they'll do. It's like they have to exert a lot of effort to make that deep breath happen. And it's like something is fighting the breath from going in their belly. And this is the third sign of numbness, extremely shallow breathing. The shallow breathing causes poor oxygenation of the body, further stress and lethargy, making it a vicious cycle. The fourth physical sign is subtle self-torture. Let me elaborate. Many traumatized and disturbed people indulge in self-harm activities like cutting and all sorts of addictions. I have a client and she told me she pricks herself until she starts bleeding. Dr. Gabor Mate, in this phenomenal book in the realm of hungry ghosts, say that if you go deeper into the reasons, people who self-harm always do it with the subconscious intention and motive to feel better, distract themselves from the pain they are already feeling in the body. He has this beautiful quote: "Don't ask why the addiction, but ask why the pain." Numb people also often indulge in self harm, but often in subtle ways and for different reasons. I remember some years ago, I would love the thrill of going on risky treks. Even if there was a safe path to the top of the mountain, something in me would compel to take a risky path. And the reason for that was because risky routes would be so much more thrilling and exciting. It would make me feel something. I didn't know it then, but now I know, because now I know that was because of numbness and wanting to desperately feel something. I was subconsciously compelled to do that risky activity, And this is the fourth sign of numbness. Doing unhealthy, often extreme stuff to feel shit. It can vary from riding at risky speeds, self harm, thrill seeking in the kind of ways I mentioned, or even watching extreme porn videos, again, just to feel something. The final sign is being deaf to the signals of your body. Let me explain what I mean by that with an example. So, during my teenage years, I remember going to night outs with my friends where we used to laugh and yell a lot, especially me. And because of all that yelling, by the next morning, my throat and vocal cords would be so fucked that I couldn't speak. This is literally how I had to talk for multiple days following the night out. Hey, please pass me the water. Kid you not. And in the last year, I went on a couple of night outs with the same group of crazy friends, and I noticed that my voice was completely fine the next day. So I was recently wondering to myself, what changed? I realized that the difference was earlier I used to be completely disconnected from my body. So when my vocal cords were sending pain signals because they were hurting due to overexertion, I literally could not notice and feel the signals in my body. So I kept on yelling until I couldn't speak anymore. But when I started connecting with my body, I could listen to my body's signals and I reduced or stopped yelling when I felt my throat hurting. Ironically, I feel it hurting a little bit right now as well. This is one of the reasons a lot of gym bros end up damaging their muscles because they didn't stop when their bodies asked them to and they were reaching the muscle's limit. But interestingly, numbness doesn't just blunt painful sensations, it also blunts pleasant ones. A 2019 study showed how emotional numbness affects both emotional and physical pleasures alike. For a lot of adults who go numb because of stress and traumatic events in the present, food which they used to enjoy earlier starts tasting like cardboard. Numbness can be very stubborn and difficult to heal. If you'd like to heal it from its very roots, click here to watch this video next that I made after half a decade of healing and research on childhood trauma, which is the root cause of numbness.